Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming. They make it, we test it, you play it. Now, on today's review, I'm reviewing a current game that has come out, and I'm going to also compare and contrast it with its predecessor from 3 years ago. I'm talking about South Park, The Stick of Truth. Which means I will be also reviewing South Park, The Fractured But Whole. I will compare and contrast between the two of them. Now, this is a review about both these games are M-rated, and they're based on an M-rated series which airs incredibly late at night. So this game and this series is definitely not meant for children in any way, shape, or form. So please, game responsibly. If you're a parent who enjoys the South Park series, don't let your kids have this. Because while South Park, the show, it pushes the envelope. It is right there at the edge sometimes, and it has to censor some stuff. It has to bleep some stuff out or have some stuff pixelated, but no. But yeah, so both these games both have violence, blood and gore, and there is nudity. So please, game responsibly. Alright. Both games take place in the South Park, Colorado of the fictitious series South Park. Now, you don't play as any of the boys or the girls. You play as a character known as the New Kid. You and your family have moved to town, and, well, each time here's what. In The Stick of Truth, you start off as just a normal kid, and then you get sucked into the fantasy roleplay game that is being done by the town. By the Fractured But Whole, it's the fantasy game has already been played, and you're now switching over to superheroes. Now, for The Stick of Truth, it took place in 2014, and this was awesome. It had a 3-part episode series called the Black Friday Trilogy to help promote the Xbox 360 and the PS4, while promoting, at the very end, this game that would be coming out for the systems. The game, for The Stick of Truth, it's heavily based, like I said, okay, for the show and the game, it's based mostly on Game of Thrones, with elements of maybe the Lord of the Rings and other fantasy RPGs, you know, knights, swords, shields, magic, blah blah blah. But here's the thing, it encapsulated everything in the show up to that point when the game came out. And this is by Ubisoft, but both games are officially licensed South Park products. They look like the show and they sound like the show. Yeah, only not as censored, since it's a game. Yeah, so, yeah, all the violence, all the swearing. Yeah, and all the characters, they look, sound, and feel and act like they normally do in the show. And remember, just because they look two-dimensional, you can actually move in 3-dimension in the game. So one of the things that got me for The Stick of Truth was how there was one area I thought I couldn't move around too much in, but then I found out it was 3-dimensional. I was like, oh, okay. There's some depth in more way, shape, and form. For The Fractured But Whole, after completing this game, it's 3 years later, so the character roster has been updated a bit, and the town location, it's roughly the same, but some stuff got taken out, some stuff got put back, some new stuff got put in, some stuff got moved around. Well, not too much for the last one, but it's pretty cool because even though it's the same town, with the new stuff added, it's completely different when when it goes from medieval fantasy to superhero genre. Yeah, so for a superhero game, for The Fractured But Whole, they did a 1-episode tie-in where they're trying to get the series, the Coon and Friends superhero series, off and running. And, of course, this leads to Civil War. And this is awesome because this game, it's doing elements of Marvel and DC, other superhero comics and stuff. It's acknowledging the superhero hype that's been going on for many years now with Marvel and DC. I kind of like that. Yeah, it has the new characters from what this show has led up to at this point for the 21st season, so kudos for that. Gameplay is a little different. In the first one, in Stick of Truth, depending on what outfit you were wearing and what weapon you were using, you could equip stickers to your weapons to have them be effective, and whatever outfits you're wearing change your stats. That doesn't work. That's not for the Fractured game. You can wear whatever outfit you want and it won't affect your stats. Your powers is, you have to assign artifacts to your powers to figure out what stuff gets buffed up. And then there's a DNA factor. Also, the cool thing is when you get your powers, in this game, you had to set it at the beginning and that was it, you were done. But for the Fractured game, you can actually go back and change your powers later on in the game, which is pretty cool because you actually need it at one point to complete a certain mission objective. You have to switch your powers around, and it gives you a chance to try out power combos to see what works best, how you play. Also, the Fractured But Whole it comes up with an invention system. So here's what the Fractured game is basically this game, but it figured out there was some stuff, it added in new elements and tried to fix some of the old ones. Now, not everything works out perfectly. There are a few issues in this game, and yeah, like I said, there was the three-dimensional thing, which took me a moment to figure out, and there was okay, so like you have summons in both games. While this one you can only summon one person, do the summon one time a day. For the Fractured game, you can actually get multiple summons. Only it's consumables, and you have to make the item to summon. So yeah, it's a bit of a change there. Both games constantly reference stuff that were in the shows, both visually, and they have like songs you hear playing over speakers, or if something's on TV, you will see that. Well, you won't see it, but you'll hear it, like a commercial promo or a part of a show. Let's see. So I think both games are amazing. Both play well. I only had one glitch with the Fractured But Whole, and in the Stick of Truth, your power was involving the breaking of wind. So naturally, if you think about how the title for the Fractured But Space Whole, it's spelled WH, but if you think about it, it's spelled differently. That kind of, yeah, they go with the jokes. They go with those kind of jokes. Yeah. Yeah. So I am enjoying this. I've enjoyed this game. I'm enjoying the Fractured game. Both are great, and I especially like the superhero genre because that's what I've kind of been into. This one's okay also. Yeah, so aside from a few little nitpicks, both games are really great. I'd highly recommend both. And the good news is that if you get the Fractured game, brand spanking new, I think you get a promo code to download this digitally for the PS4 or the Xbox 360. Me, since I had this for the PS3, I don't need to worry about that, so yeah. If you're a fan of the South Park series, if you've played this first game and enjoy it, then you'll love the Fractured But Whole. And it's pretty awesome because they have like some level of originality for their superheroes, and like and they have like some characters that they've made up which are very eerily similar to what you see in the official comic book superhero universes. So, for South Park, The Stick of Truth, and for South Park, The Fractured But Whole, I give them both. They are so close. Just a few nitpicks. I give them both a 9 3/4, 9.75 out of 10. Yeah, so yeah, I haven't gotten too far with the Fractured But Whole since I could rent it for a few days, and I've gotten pretty far in this. But yeah, so aside from a few issues here and there, really great series. I highly recommend it. So sorry the review is late. Yeah, this game came out I think Tuesday, and I'm trying to get this review done now. So enjoy it. Go out, rent it, play it. This isn't a rent game. Both of these are buy games. Very, very good. So yeah. That's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this has been Test Subject 1337 saying thanks again, and as always, game on.